the Christian army that refused to retreat and paid the price. True incident. Christian wars. They knew retreat meant survival. They knew standing firm meant death. Yet, they chose not to run. Surrounded, outnumbered, cut off from reinforcements. This Christian army stood on the edge of annihilation, facing an enemy that promised mercy if they abandoned their faith. By dawn, most of them would be dead. This is not a legend. This is a true incident history tried to bury. In the late medieval period, as empires expanded and religious borders burned with conflict, a small Christian force found itself defending a strategic city at the edge of a collapsing frontier. They were not elite warriors. They were not well supplied. They were not expecting reinforcements. What they had was conviction. This city was more than stone walls. It was a sanctuary for families, monks, and refugees who had already fled violence elsewhere. If the army retreated, the city would fall within hours. Scouts delivered devastating news. 3 enemy divisions were advancing from different directions. Supplies were nearly gone. Arrows were rationed. Food had already run out. Military logic was clear. Retreat now, regroup, and survive. Even their own commanders agreed. The War Council advised withdrawal before nightfall. But there was one condition from the enemy that changed everything. A messenger arrived under a white flag. The terms were simple. Lay down your weapons. Renounce Christianity. Open the gates and you will live. Refuse, and the city will burn. The soldiers gathered in silence. This was no longer a military decision. This was a spiritual one. Survival. Or faith. Many of the soldiers had families inside the city walls. Children, wives, elderly parents. They knew exactly what defeat would mean. Some begged their commanders to retreat and fight another day. Others fell to their knees in prayer. And then, the commander stood. He did not shout. He did not threaten. He said only this: "If we abandon our faith today, we will survive. But we will lose who we are forever." Then he gave the order that sealed their fate: no retreat. That night, there were no victory speeches, only prayers. Some soldiers wrote final letters that would never be delivered. Others confessed their fears openly. Many received last rites by candlelight. They did not believe they would win. They believed they were being faithful. At first light, the attack began. The enemy waves came relentlessly. Arrows darkened the sky. Walls shook under siege engines. Bodies piled where the gates once stood. The Christian army fought desperately, but numbers always win. By midday, sections of the wall collapsed. By evening, resistance was breaking. One by one, the defenders fell. There was no miraculous rescue, no last-minute reinforcement. Most of the army was slaughtered where they stood. Those captured were given one final chance to renounce their faith. Few did. The city fell. The army was erased. Their stand was recorded only briefly, then forgotten, or so it seemed. News of their refusals spread quietly through neighboring regions, not as a victory, but as a testimony. Monasteries recorded their names. Priests spoke of their sacrifice. Their story strengthened other communities facing similar threats. Their stand did not stop the war, but it inspired courage where fear once ruled. They lost the battle. But history shows something deeper. Not every war is won by survival. Not every defeat is failure. Sometimes faith is measured not by escape, but by what you refuse to abandon even when it costs everything. This was not just a war of swords and shields. It was a war of belief, and the price was everything.